Hello, everyone. I'm Sumaya O'Grady, Dove Oracle Priestess, and today I will be channeling Mother Mary. And I will be once again joined by my dear friend, Cynthia Stott, who is a global visibility influencer. And I'm sure that Cynthia will have some juicy, very timely questions to ask of Mother Mary. And we never quite know what's going to happen on these interviews. So I'll take just a moment to go within and connect with Mother Mary. So hold on.
And thank you, Sumaya, for inviting me. I'm really excited to hear what Mother Mary has to say.
Me too. Thank you. Okay, Cynthia, Mother Mary is here. She would love to hear your questions.
Great. So I am very focused in my work in supporting women leaders to really step up and serve and lead in a divine feminine way, or at least what I imagine is divine feminine. And so I would love to tap in and talk with you about that, and especially to understand from your perspective, Mother Mary, the connection, or if there is one, between feminism and the divine feminine.
This is indeed an important question, and it is of timely value to many women right now who may have a similar question. Feminism played a vibrant role in the world, primarily in the West, and it was a profound political movement that did make a beginning in changing people's thinking. It is never easy because sometimes thinking is like a rock rolling downhill, and it is challenging to find a way to interrupt that flow for a new important avenue of experience for humanity. And because of the time that we are living in now, which is perhaps 25 or 30 years later than the time you were referring to, in which feminism was rising. Now we are in the time that many people understand as the rise of the divine feminine. This is a phrase that is being bandied about and used by many people, and yet it is one that does need much thought and clarification. It is important that the divine feminine is understood as a powerful spiritual principle and not as a political movement. Although, of course, it is difficult for humans to remove political movements from the picture, for the moment we will speak about this, that the divine feminine is only one portion of what is possible for humanity. Because as you realize, there is also a divine masculine. And both can exist within one person as powerful spiritual principles, and both can express themselves in many other ways as a powerful energy that is now available at a cosmic level. So, for the moment, let me discuss with you about divine feminine. The understanding of what is feminine, what is masculine, has become a prison, and it is time to break the walls of that prison. The divine feminine has been a force that has, or an energy that has been covered over and suppressed. And this suppression has caused a great imbalance. And what you are seeing now here on the planet, known as your beloved Gaia, who she herself is a powerful expression of the divine feminine. And this particular cosmic energy, which is making itself available in a far more powerful way than has been in the past, is igniting deep desires and igniting higher consciousness in the hearts and minds of both men and women, who will find this to be a healing at a global level for humanity. And as men step into the alchemy of the divine feminine, as well as women, because this is indeed alchemy. Alchemy is a transmutation from a more base substance into something of a higher frequency. And as these ancient ideas of feminine and masculine are once and for all washed away, and people of the planet Earth are able to step into a deeper transmutation of these principles, not genders, of the divine feminine and the divine masculine, much planetary healing will come about. I am not sure if I have completely answered your question, but this is what I am saying in this moment. Please continue with your questions, my daughter.
Thank you, Divine Mother. I'd love to explore more something that you said. You said that our something to the effect of our current understanding as humans of masculine and feminine is a prison. And that was a little surprising to me. I think I get what you mean, but I would love to understand more fully what you mean, and especially what will result when we're no longer imprisoned by our understanding of what it means to be male and female or feminine and masculine.
Yes, I am happy to elucidate. The prison I was referring to has been the way in which both people of both genders and also transgender people have felt they must behave and have felt that the fullness of their beauty and love, talents and gifts must be contained within a smaller box. that is conditioned by the gender in which they find themselves. And the women and men who have made valiant attempts to break out of that box are often, sometimes they are appreciated, but very often they are criticized and they pay a very high price for stepping out of what is considered appropriate behavior. And of course, this behavior of what is masculine and what is feminine has changed so much from the time of ancient Egypt to the time that we have now to the time that humanity will have in the future, and across ethnicities in different countries and at different times. There has been much change, but in all of those times, there has been mm, a mm, there has been a particular prison in which the people of each gender must adhere to what society and others around them feel is appropriate. And that is the prison, because indeed, gender should never be a prison. Humans find themselves with many gifts, and these gifts are divine. And it is important that their divine gifts become expressed, that they become appreciated, that they become made manifest to the human beings on the planet without concern of gender appropriateness, which has become an extremely negative view outside of the bounds of love.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mother Mary. So, from your perspective, what is the difference? Because I know we're all souls inside of a human body, which takes usually a male or female form. Some are transgender, but that usually happens a little later in life. What, from your perspective, what is the difference between a man and a woman? Is there like a fundamental difference or role difference or way that we can be in the world that will be empowering to both genders, to both sexes, and more fully embodying the love and the role we're meant to play in these bodies?
Yes, Cynthia, this is a matter for great confusion. Obviously, as everyone knows, there are biological differences which do have an impact upon a role that a man or a woman might play, especially for women who have the ability to give birth to a child. However, these abilities are enhancements and are gifts rather than prisons. And women, if women did not give birth to children, the earth would cease to exist. The planet would be here, however, the people would soon vanish. This is a sacred power, and it is important that this ability be treated as something sacred. Right now, there is much confusion about sexuality and the process of creating a child. And here I'm speaking not of scientific laboratories, but in the process of the male and the female coming together in the act of love and creating a child, which will then become born by the female. Because of the sacredness of this activity, much good can come to everyone who is involved with this. However, because this particular opportunity is no longer considered sacred and has become used in extremely negative ways by people who have very negative agendas for the planet and for the people on the planet, that the sacredness of coming together in love to create a child has been, unfortunately, um, in the minds and hearts of many people, it has been lost. Now, that is only one piece of your question. If this sacredness of creating life and supporting all that needs to happen for this life to be, much would change in the world. Much positive change would happen as people revered this act, because this sacredness is also part of not only caring for a woman who is going to give birth, but caring for the planet, Gaia, who is your mother, who is the mother of all people who are here on this planet right now. She is not separate from me. We are all faces of the Divine Mother in whatever name you may know us by in your religion or your tradition. And as this aspect of love is elevated, much planetary healing can happen. The fate of, shall I say, this connection between women and men coming together in this way, and also the planetary experience of humans on the planet, are inextricably linked. And what happens to one happens to the other. And as women are mistreated, so is the planet mistreated. Despite the efforts of many men who are stepping into their own divine masculine and honoring their own divine feminine that is already within them. It is an important evolutionary step for human beings at this time to recognize the divine feminine and the divine masculine within them. And as they do that, much healing will happen on the human personal level and on all levels of society and government and on all planetary levels.
Beautiful. So we have just a few more minutes here, about 5 more minutes. Between the sacredness of a woman bearing a child and, I'm paraphrasing here, but like the disconnection of that, making it not sacred in our society many times has also kind of damaged our relationship with the earth, because they're tied together somehow. Um, so, and then you talked about the mistreatment of women. And one thing that is really prevalent in our society, especially in the West and in America right now, is the Me Too movement, about women coming forward and sharing about how they have been mistreated. And sometimes that can fall into a battle, um, us versus them. But I think if we allow it to have more divine feminine power to it, it could actually be a healing movement. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and how you view women speaking up and sharing about the mistreatments that they've been through, and how that can actually help us to grow further, instead of sort of degrading down into more war and discord.
Yes. There is much of importance about this movement. As I have said previously, um, as challenges come into a person's life, it is important to see the challenge as a blessing and to respond with love. And this is an evolutionary process that humanity will grow into. And it does start with speaking the truth. It does start with no longer hiding what shall I say here, that when things are evil and are allowed to remain in the darkness, this does not serve the evolution of humanity. It is important to bring forth into the light, into the truth, the heinous actions that have occurred. However, that being said, it is also important for the people who are now speaking their truth, therefore preventing further evil actions, that it is important that they also, as part of their healing and ability to move into what's next for them in their life, it is important that they are able to find within them a positive response, a response that takes them out of the pain and the trauma and the conflict, but to see the divine light in all that has happened. Because we do not, as humans, you do not always understand the bigger picture. The expulsion of evil occurs when people stop and say no. The expulsion of evil stops when people shine a light. And it is important in the doing of this that this become a healing for all concerned. Because when evil is allowed to run rampant, as I said previously, it hurts the earth, it damages, it it creates negative energy for people in the view of the sacredness of love, of sexuality, and of giving birth to children, and all of those things. There is there is a benefit to this movement if it is held within the context um, of healing and shining the light. There is much divine support and love for humanity and for men and women to step into the divine feminine and the divine masculine. And often birth is messy and painful, as many people know. But nonetheless, if this is responded to as the birth of something positive, then all many people all over the world and the planet will benefit.
Mm, beautiful. I love that you share that birthing is messy and that we humans are going through a type of birth and transition, and that you sound very hopeful for that, and that gives me a lot of hope that we will come through this um, with more love and light and gratitude and health and healing for ourselves and the planet. So thank you so much, Mother Mary, for all your wisdom that you've shared today.
You are very welcome. And I it is good that you are experiencing hope, because hope opens the door for positive response, and that is the key to the healing.
Mm.
So thank you. I will thank you, Mother Mary, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I so appreciate this opportunity to speak your words, Mother Mary. And thank you so much for your excellent, thought provoking questions, Cynthia. Um,
Mm. My
and
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
all right. Well, that's all for now. Goodbye, everyone.